Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have a super exciting review straight from Matthew the Dinosaur King. In my recent unboxing, he had sent me a few Jurassic World figures, and one of which was the brand new Mattel Battle Damage Gasosaurus, and I was beyond excited to get a hold of this figure. Been waiting for quite a while, ever since the promotional images were unveiled, to get a hold of this, because I don't have any Gasosaurus figures in my collection at all, or I guess I should say I did not, until receiving this figure. Again, huge thank you to Matthew the Dinosaur King for sending this over to me and making a trade, allowing me to add this to my collection and review it for you guys here. You can see straight away on the front, we've got the Gasosaurus just kind of hanging out, chilling there, strapped in. And down here, we've got Battle Damage Gasosaurus, and then Velociraptor Blue and Owen over here, giving us their, as usual, very strange look. And then on the back, we've got another image of the Gasosaurus looking nice and very threatening, and then an image down here of the other Velociraptor and Triceratops in this current wave of Battle Damage figures. So let's break this out of the box and take a look at it. So here is our Gasosaurus figure, and straight away, it looks phenomenal. I am really loving this Mattel line. I have been the entire time. They have yet to let me down, I think, on any figure, and that follows through straight away with this Gasosaurus. It is just absolutely beautiful here at first glance, but I am really excited to get a nice close look at the figure, check out the detail and everything up close. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt looks really, really good. Beautiful detailing all over the head sculpt. You've got the really nicely sculpted out nostrils there. Some beautiful scaling down here on the lower jaw, along with a few kind of osteoderm-like bumps here and there. Nicely painted teeth. The teeth actually look to be really well done for the most part. There's a tiny bit of sloppiness right there, but not too much. The inside of the mouth looks great. Wow, look at that. Even the back of the throat now is kind of sculpted out, and I don't really recall that being the case too much with previous figures. Maybe it is and I just missed it, but it looks really cool on this. The tongue itself also has an incredibly nice, very textured appearance. If I could get the camera to focus, there you go. You can really see how beautiful that tongue looks. Really nice paint application on the inside of the mouth as well. Even the skin flap here in the corner of the mouth sports some absolutely incredible sculpt work, and again, the paint is great. It's a really nice, very realistic tone of like a pinkish type of a color, and it's glossed beautifully, really giving you the idea of saliva in the mouth of the Gasosaurus. So Mattel absolutely nailing the mouth department of this dinosaur. I think it looks very nice, very realistic, and the articulated jaw works great. I love when you actually have a dinosaur figure like this that doesn't have any kind of an action feature that causes the mouth to open and snap shut. One where you can actually display the mouth however you would like, just a regular old articulated jaw. That's what we get with this Gasosaurus, and I am a big fan of that. The eye appears to be painted pretty darn nicely. It's got a yellowish coloration with a black pupil. Looks very good. You can see some nice variation of color here on the face, kind of like a little bit of a darker green that runs across the snout up here, and then becomes like a lighter green when we get down into the face, and it just kind of has like a splotchy sort of a design that runs all over the face. I think that definitely looks really quite nice. And then looking at the opposing side of the head, you can see that the eye is a little bit sloppy as far as the placement over here, but I think at this point we're starting to become accustomed to that when it comes to Mattel figures, and it's not too far off. I've had some pretty darn bad eye placement like my Amargasaurus, so that's not that bad. As we move back into the top of the head here and down into the neck, you can see some really nice, very fine scaling up here on the top of the head. And then as we move down the neck, you can see the neck articulates beautifully. I love the articulation of these Mattel figures. These are like dream-worthy figures when it comes to the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park line. And then we keep moving down the body, and you can see that that very nice green is a beautiful tone, a very realistic tone, and it also has all those black speckles that you tend to see on a lot of Mattel figures, which I really do love. Helps to give it some extremely cool paint variation, a little bit of alternate paint sort of included in there. Definitely a really nice choice as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the paint jobs of the Mattel figures. Down here on the bottom of the throat, you've got some, again, some pretty nice looking skin texture, but you also can see that it's almost like a battle of the greens as they kind of shoot back and forth into each other, and it looks really cool. Definitely a very nice paint application as far as this figure goes. Nice choice of paint, and the arm is actually a little bit of a slightly different shade of green in comparison to what you see here on the stomach, and that's the same deal with the lower jaw. Again, I think that just has to do with the material used, just kind of making the paint look a little bit different in comparison to each other, and it's ever so slightly a different shade, but I actually will accept that as a slightly different variation of paint included, and I think it looks really cool because of it. Moving down here into the arms and hands, you've got lots of nice creasing in the skin. As we move down the arms, the hand sculpts look beautiful. Of course, we don't get paint on the nails of the hands or feet. That's just kind of the way it goes, especially when it comes to Battle Damage, Attack Pack, and Savage Strike figures. For the most part, I mean, there might be the occasional figure that will sneak some paint on the nails, but for the most part, this is pretty much the way it works. You've got a very nice hand sculpt there, beautiful detailing down the fingers, also some really nice detailing here in the palms of the hands. It's one area that I don't really touch on too much. Looking here in the stomach, you can see the rib cage is definitely nicely sculpted out there. It's not overly visible or anything like that. It really looks like a natural amount of the rib cage showing. It looks like it's still got some pretty healthy weight on the animal. You can really see how beautiful that skin texture is. Really nice, very fine scaling as you move back into the hip area. And then once we come down here into the thigh, you can really see the nice muscle tone, as always with the Mattel figures, of both the thigh and calf. But you can also see lots of creasing going on in the legs as you move down into the foot, and you can also take note of the kneecap there. Once you move down into the foot sculpt, you can see that beautiful scoot-like appearance down the toes. The toenails do appear to have a gloss to them, so they have at least a little bit of extra realism, even if they don't actually have nail paint that is specific to that area. And then once we come back up here, going out into the tail, you can see quite a few little creases in the skin there. You can again see how cool the greens play off of each other there with that light green and the darker green. And then once we get into the tail, look at how beautiful the scaling is once again. That scaling is fantastic. Sometimes I feel like people take the Mattel sculpts for granted when it comes to just how much incredible work is put into the sculpts, but you can really see just how gorgeous the scale work is on this Gasosaurus. And then as we move out into the rest of the tail, you can see that it comes out to a nice curve and also sports that lighter green, and it kind of cuts off right about here, and then the rest of the tail is primarily this dark green. Looking at the opposing side again, a lot of the detail is probably going to look pretty much just like what we saw on the previous side. Again, the nice creases in the neck there, very nice arm sculpt, but the arm sculpt is in completely a neutral position, just like you see on the opposing side there. Coming back into the body, you can see the battle damage area right here, and of course take note to the rib cage as well. Once you press that battle damage, it works, opens up perfectly, displays the guts and gore of the Gasosaurus along with a really nice gloss and a reddish color in there. And then looking up here at the top of the animal, again, that beautiful, very fine scaling. I am a huge fan of the scaling that runs along the top of the dinosaur, and I love how it differs. You've got that really nice, beautiful scaling up here, but then once you come down into the side of the animal, you can see there is really nice skin texture, but it's a lot more fine of a skin texture than what you see up on the top. So really cool difference as far as the overall skin texture of the animal. Once again, you've got that very nice musculature of the thigh and calf area, really beautifully defined the entire way up the leg. The really nice kneecap there as well. The foot sculpt looks gorgeous on this side, just like we saw on the previous side. Very nice dew claw sculpted out there. Once again, the gloss coat is added to the toenails just to make them shine and look a little bit more realistic. And then we run out the length of the tail. Once again, it looks really nice the entire way out. Beautiful curve as we move out the body. You can see lots of nice detailing on the underside of the dinosaur as well. And there is the Jurassic Facts app if you are interested in adding this to your collection. But overall, I think the Gasosaurus is beautiful as far as the sculpt and paintwork goes. But let's go ahead and get a look at the articulation. So as far as the articulation on the Gasosaurus goes, of course I did state that we have the articulated jaw, which works really well. We also have articulation on the neck area, and it's got a really beautiful swivel to it, so you can actually turn the head completely upside down if you would really like. But I love when Mattel includes this type of articulation. They did this same deal with the more recent Battle Damage Proceratosaurus, where it allows a lot of posability when it comes to your dinosaur and exactly how you can display it. I really, really love the swivel type of an effect in the neck sculpt, because look at how much incredible articulation, incredible poses and dioramas you could create with this type of posability in the neck. That is fantastic. And then we've of course got the arm articulation, and then we can also make the arms fly. He's pretending he's evolving much faster than he actually is, and he's currently turning into a bird. And then we can also see that the legs move forward and back. We've got the battle damage articulation, and then the tail is also on a swivel. So that's about it as far as articulation goes, and really that is a lot, and allows for some incredible posability and diorama possibilities for sure. As far as the size goes, from the tail to the head, you're looking at about 7¼ inches, or about 18½ centimeters for a length, and for a height about 2½, maybe 2¾ inches, or around 7 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, Robert Muldoon in the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, really ironing in the fact that the Gasosaurus is a smaller Mattel figure, right around the Attack Pack size range, which is pretty much the usual when it comes to battle damage figures, or at least the smaller ones, not including things like the Spinosaurus and Albertosaurus. But as far as the smaller, average size battle damage figures go, it's really perfectly right in that exact same size range. So this Mattel Jurassic World Primal Attack Battle Damage Gasosaurus is awesome. Another really beautiful figure from Mattel. I absolutely love when we get a new sculpt or a new species. I also love the repaints, but as far as actually getting a new sculpt, a new species, that's always the highlight of any time that Mattel is releasing a figure. So I was super excited to find out we were getting a Gasosaurus, especially considering, like I stated earlier in the review, I don't have any Gasosaurus figures in my collection whatsoever. So to be getting one from Mattel is fantastic, especially considering you get that wonderful articulation included with the dinosaur. I think the sculpt of this is beautiful, really nice. As far as the fine detailing goes, for sure, like I stated, I love the fact that there's that really nice scaling that runs along the upper side of the dinosaur, but then as you get down onto the sides of it, it kind of transitions really nicely to like a smoother type of a skin texture, a little bit more fine of a skin texture, and it looks really good. Also gives the dinosaur quite a bit of difference as far as the overall appearance of the body once you actually get it up close and take a nice look at it. I think the paintwork is also really beautifully done. Very nice color tones. The choices of color they've chosen are all really natural as far as I'm concerned, and so is the design overall. It's got a really flashy design, but since the greens aren't anything that are overly bright and overly vibrant, I really feel like it looks very natural on the dinosaur. Definitely the type of color scheme I could see on a modern day lizard, so it works perfectly for this dinosaur. As usual, when it comes to Mattel, the feet are a little oversized and the tail's a little bit too short, but I don't think anybody's surprised by that fact anymore, and it's something that we've all come to live with, and I really don't think that either of those facts take away from the figure at all, as far as I'm concerned. So, if you want to pick this beautiful Mattel Gasosaurus up, as of right now, like I had stated earlier, I think they're available only in the United Kingdom, and I've heard Mexico as well, and unfortunately they have not hit stores in the United States quite yet, but that doesn't mean that they won't. Hopefully they'll either show up on an online retailer like Walmart.com or even Amazon, or they'll hopefully start popping up in whatever Walmarts actually still contain Jurassic World figures. So either way, good luck guys, happy hunting trying to acquire this. It's a fantastic figure. One more thank you again to Matthew the Dinosaur King for helping me to acquire this, because he is the absolute man for doing just that. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of any future videos, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.